Phantom Sounds production. What up, sound?
If you were on the show, go ahead and hit that plus sign. Let's see those juice boxes, y'all. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Red Room Talk. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Jen. The Red Room Talk is a show about love, intimacy, and interpersonal relationships, including self, to erase different social stigmas. We are here to have candid discussions and cut through those stigmas to show that in the end, no matter who you or no matter your background, we all have commonalities when it comes to matters of the mind and the heart. Nothing is off the table in the Red Room Talk. Last episode, if you missed us, that's okay. You can find us on YouTube by clicking the link in my profile and subscribing. Last episode, we talked about romantic relationships, but this week we're going to discuss adversity with this week's topic, overcoming obstacles. We have an all-star cast. We have G-Way, No Way. We have Chilla, and we have Wancho Number. Let's find out how the panel feels about overcoming life's obstacles. Please do stick around to the end, though. We're going to need the audience's help later in the show, so do not go anywhere. Before we get started, though, all I ask is that you keep your mind open and your language clean. First things first, go ahead and click that plus sign, and now I'll go ahead and let someone in the box and go ahead and kick that one out right there, y'all.
What up, what up, what up?
Hi, everybody. Hi. How's everybody doing? Welcome to I was scared for a second. Like, y'all, can I not hear y'all?
Hey, Marie.
What up?
How is everybody tonight? Welcome to the Red Room. Chilla, this is your first time here, so welcome to the Red Room. We are polite here on the Red Room, of course. So I'm going to let everybody go ahead and introduce themselves. But, of course, because we are polite, we're going to go ahead and let the ladies go first. So go ahead, Chilla, and introduce yourself and let us know what you got going on the app.
Hey, y'all. I'm Chilla. I guess J-Star for some, because that's what I've been hearing. I don't know who J-Star is, but I'm a tarot reader. I'm a tarot reader. I do stream evenings, but I do my readings on Tuesdays and Saturdays, so y'all can pop by, get a reading, chill with me.
I'm on your number. You can find me for the feature show Pour It On every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also catch me on Sunday with Top Bass Gin and Juice for Soul Food Sunday. Make sure y'all tap in tomorrow to my live at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will also get a chance to win one of the first Wancho Juice items that we're bringing out on the line. So get your chance to win a Ventures with Gencho t-shirt. Okay.
Okay.
Other than that, you catch me whenever you see me.
It's such a beautiful thing to watch stuff come to life. I'm your co-host, G-Way or No Way. You can catch me here every Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, co-hosted with Gin and Juice. You can also catch me on Sunday, Last from the Throne with Florida's Finest, 9 p.m. You can also catch me on Hood View when I bring that back on Mondays. Wednesdays, I also got Venus versus Mars. That's at 8 o'clock. I also got Pit Show at 9 o'clock, Tales from the Hood. Get lit on Thursdays. I got something going on like literally every day. So like hit the fave. I'm finna just start shortening. Like I got something every day. Hit the fave button. That's my new thing.
Well, I am Jen and Juice, y'all. I host this show right now every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, like he said earlier, we do Soul Food Sundays every Sunday at 5 p.m. Make sure y'all tap in. We're doing the giveaway for the t-shirt, which is the Wancho Juice brand. We're doing the Adventures of Gencho t-shirt giveaway, so make sure y'all tap in tomorrow at 5. And then also make sure y'all pull up for Getting Lit on Thursdays at 9 p.m. And then we do game nights on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. So make sure y'all tap in. But before we get started, also those top 3 gifters on the show every week. I recognize the top 3, and the number 1 gifter gets a graphic made by yours truly. So make sure y'all tap in every Saturday at 10 p.m. But we're gonna go ahead and get started, y'all. Catastrophes can occur with unexpected swiftness and in an instant change our lives forever. Illnesses and other misfortunes may develop slowly over time, and they too may change our lives forever. But the story does not have to end there. With the help of my panel tonight, I hope we can give you hope in your times of adversity and give you strength to keep going. With that, I'm going to ask my first question. So tell me about your biggest obstacle or adversity that you've had to face.
All right, we're gonna just jump in the pool
We're
like
jumping
that.
right in, y'all. Right in.
I just ate.
Well,
No lube. We're just right in there.
My hardest adversity or obstacle would be bouncing back from homelessness. A lot of people don't know that probably about a good maybe 11 years ago, I was homeless for almost a year. At that time, I was working at Subway and literally like closing every night on purpose so I could sleep behind my job and beat everybody there in the morning. So like that, like literally woke me up and taught me a lesson. It taught me at the end of the day that no matter how bad it gets, it'll never get that bad. So I definitely use it for everyday motivation.
I have to second that. I mean, mine wasn't 11 years ago, but during the pandemic, I went through a rough patch. With me and my son, we were homeless for about 6 months. We eventually ended up getting into a hotel for a while and waiting for me to start my job where I live now. But yeah, I would say that was probably like one of the roughest times ever, trying to, make sure you got food in your kid's mouth and, staying somewhere warm and being able to, shower and things like that. And raising a young one at the same time.
For sure.
I think mine is learning how to live with being molested by someone who is supposed to protect you. So I was molested from like the age of 5 till I was like 12. Even like while he was sick, he would still try to like touch me. So it was weird. But yeah, I think that's my biggest one.
sorry to hear that. I'm glad that you got through that. So a lot of people don't know, but you're about to find out if you don't know. It's been about, 2 years ago now, a little over. I was diagnosed with brain disease, and so going through that really changed the trajectory for me. That's actually why I started streaming. I won't say why I started streaming. I was streaming before that, but that's why I started really taking it serious. It was the one thing that I really kind of had to hold on to. I think that made me feel more human. But going through that, I was not just going through that, but I was going through trying to figure out other diagnoses. I was going through cancer screening. They thought I had leukemia, so I was going through blood tests. I was going through MRIs. I was going through spinal taps, like every other week. But I was still doing my show at the same time, and a lot of people didn't know. I kept it secret for a very long time. One of the only people who knew at the time was King of Diamonds, who that number 3 bubble. That's one of my best friends here on the app. But he was one of the only people who knew that I was going through that, and he really kept me kind of going during that time. I mean, I felt like I really had nothing. I felt like I was kind of worthless. Like before all that, I was a person who I worked 7 jobs. I, did everything for everyone, and when that happened, I just really kind of lost myself in it, you know what I'm saying? And this is the one thing that I had that kept me going, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's really the biggest thing that I've had to face thus far, at least in the recent, that I can really, that I'm going to talk about tonight. But if you didn't know, yep, that is something that I definitely still go through and I still face. But I do have a good support system, thankfully. But yeah, that's my story. So, and I did thank you guys. Seriously, I just want to tell you guys before we move on that I do appreciate you guys for all sharing your stories. I know this is not always easy things to talk about, so I definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all for being open and honest tonight. So thank you. But yeah. But if y'all are just pulling up, we have so much more to come, y'all. You can find us every Saturday on the Red Room Talk at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just discussed the biggest obstacle and adversity you've had to face, but now I want to talk about hardship. Somewhere along the way, you've endured a personal tragedy or adversity that has affected you in your outer relationships. These can range from small tragedies such as not getting that promotion at work to big tragedies such as life-altering accident or illness or hardships of any sort. The little tragedies can be a test, especially at the beginning of a relationship, and can affect family or even friends. How does each person react to tragedy? Then, how does each person support each other? We learn and grow with each other, and this includes all of life's ups and downs. How we support each other even while enduring a tragedy ourselves shows a lot about our personal character as well as how we value the other person's feelings. When the big tragedies come along, they can change us in our relationships. After a horrific accident, a death in the family, or some other type of loss, things will never be the same. For each person and for our relationships, the important thing is to get through it together. Support each other and love each other. You never know what the future holds, but if you are there for each other, you can get through it together. So I want to know, what was the hardest part about what you went through, and how did it change your relationships with the people around you?
For one, I really saw who was there for me and who really wasn't. Like in a time like that, you would think like some of the people that call you, family or friends and things like that would, be there for you. But that's not always, the case. I live in an area not far, from family, but everybody has their own lives and their own ways of doing things, and it was just one of those things where it was like I didn't have anybody. It limited like the jobs that I could go for. While I had a job, but I was waiting for that job to start. But in the meantime, between time while I was waiting for that job to start, it made it harder for me to find something in passing because I had a kid with me 24/7, and he's got to go to school, and then obviously the virtual thing with COVID and all that played a serious hand in that. So it made it pretty much impossible for me to, look for anything and without him being in school or having anybody to watch him for me.
Definitely. How did so like going through that, like did people really kind of just back away from you?
Um, it's not. I wouldn't even say necessarily. Everybody was, during COVID. I feel like a lot of people were just for themselves.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I wouldn't necessarily say that they backed off or anything like that, but it was everybody was for themselves, and nobody, everybody was worried about getting COVID and all of that stuff. So it was like, even if it was like your family, if they, were immune deficient, then they didn't want to, bring you around and stuff like that because they worried about them, themselves getting sick, which is understandable too, in a sense. But yeah, I wouldn't say there was like no back off. It was just more so like everybody was just, feeding for themselves, like doing what they had to do to get by and survive.
Right. So how about you, Chilla? What was the hardest part about what you went through, and how did it change your relationships with the people around you?
I can say COVID as well, but it was more of with COVID, it was forgiveness on how to forgive someone because my aunt was in the hospital in ICU for 9 months. And there was at one point where the doctors were like, "Yeah, I gotta get ready because like she's not going to be here for long." So forgiving my family and being able just to have that relationship, um, crying because this is someone who had an impact on your life, but yet also did things to you that were like horrific and altered your life. So it definitely is that forgiveness, forgiving your family, not staying mad at people, and also my grandma's death. She died like 2021 January. She had COVID as well. She got COVID in the hospital, but just again, forgiveness and knowing who's there when you need them, for real.
Right.
For me, the hardest part of the situation that I went through was swallowing my pride. For me, a lot of my friends and family really didn't know, and it took probably about a good, I say about 2 months for me to finally like just break down and just start actually opening my mouth and telling people what was going on and reaching out trying to get help because I had so much pride for like those first 2 months that I didn't want nobody to know. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to go to the Salvation Army to get help or seek, stay in a shelter because somebody might see me that know me or something like that. And it helped me learn to open up to people. That's one thing it did. Let me learn to open up. I'm still having a hard time with it, but I open up a lot more now because of that situation.
For sure. I think the hardest part about what I went through was not only like it was life altering, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I was this person before, like it was a before and after moment, you know what I'm saying? Before I got sick, I was this, I mean, I'm still the bubbly person, but I just was different. I was one of those people you couldn't sit me down. You couldn't, and maybe that's why it came into fruition, and maybe that's because God said sit you down, because I was working 7 jobs. I mean, I was caregiving. I was working 3 caregiving jobs, and I was taking care of so many people. And it was like for the first time I needed to be taken care of, and I didn't know how to deal with that. And I think like the main hardest part of it was watching everyone I loved walk away from me. I think that was honestly the biggest shift because everyone loved to be around me. They loved my personality. I was always like monthly I had a girls date that we all of us girls would get together, and that stopped. All the friends that I had before, all the friends that I would help out, all the friends that I would go out with completely just walked away from me. And I don't know if it's because they thought that I was going to be something to deal with or because I couldn't do all the things before, because when I got sick I pretty much I mean, for like the first like 2 months, I was like dang near comatose. Like I couldn't really speak properly. I really was kind of in bed most of the time unless I was on here or I was doing the show. Like I really had like trouble, like I even had trouble like speaking like full sentences. And really to kind of like deviate from that, that's why I have a prompter even for my show now, even though I know, but I'm so afraid because I forget a lot of times like what I'm saying while I say it, or even in conversation, someone will say, well, I told you this or you said that, and I'll be like, no, 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 I didn't, but I still have a problem with remembering, or even like I'll be speaking and just forget a word. And a lot of people, if you know me or you've been around me, I hid it for so long that I kind of like kind of relied on people. Like I'd be like, what's the word? And they would kind of have to like help me. Even now I still do it. I'd be like, what's the word? And I do it all the time. If people paid attention, they would notice. But I was so quiet about it. I really hid it up until January. I hid it for a long time. Like I said, the only people who knew were people that were closest to me. Um, and it changed my relationships with people just because they, like I said, they walked away from me. They really just kind of really just abandoned me. And I think for being someone who really, I'm such a mover and shaker. Like I always was out and about. I was always doing things. You know what I'm saying? I'm a social butterfly. So, it really it just kind of like changed things for me, like with people, because everyone was so used to me going out and doing things, and there was this kind of like that stopped. Like I didn't even leave my house, I swear, at one point for like months. Especially during the pandemic and stuff like that. Even then, like going through that and then getting sick after, I thought I had COVID when I first got sick. And so, then being one of those people who couldn't be around people, I really secluded myself. So this was really the only like human interaction I really got. So that really changed my relationships in general, because I kind of just kept to myself. I mean, nobody really was around. Nobody wanted to be around me, so I just completely snatched myself back from everybody. But do you guys have anything else to elaborate on? No? But if y'all are just pulling up, that's okay. You guys have not missed much. We still have a lot more to discuss. You can find us every what? Can I hear it? Every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. I can't stand y'all. We just discussed the biggest obstacle and adversity that we've had to face. What was the hardest part about what you went through, and how did it change your relationship with the people around you? But I want to know now about your strength. When I was writing this episode, I thought about I thought about all the amazing people I've met in my life who have been through unbelievably difficult circumstances and not only made it through them, but found a way to turn it into something positive. And then I thought of the flip side. Those times when I was met with defeat and I did nothing. I cowered. I crumbled. I didn't learn from it. And many people I know that have done the same. But what made the difference? So what I want to know is, what gave you the strength you needed to be able to stand here in front of us today? Did you ever have a moment you wanted to give up?
I would say there was several times that I wanted to give up. At one point in time, I had went to a shelter, and it was like I was there not even 24 hours, and then they had announced that there was a COVID outbreak in the shelter, and it was basically my options were to stay there and be locked down and not, be able to go anywhere, anything like that, or to stay in my car, where I was already staying. So, for me, I was like, man, I guess I'm staying in the car, because I'm not staying trapped up in here with all these people with COVID, and then I'm gonna get sick, and then my kid gonna get sick, and and at the time I didn't even know I had health issues or had autoimmune diseases myself. So it was like, if I had put myself in that situation, like I really could have been messed up. But when I look back on it all, like I just look at where I am now, and it's like I have this place, my kid's safe. He's got a roof over his head. He got mouth that food that he can put in his mouth. Got business going and everything like that. Like it's light years from where it was, and that to think that was only what 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
For me, I feel like my strength came from when I got pregnant. Um, Having my son and having to be able to like go get help for the trauma, it helped a lot as well. And knowing that I wasn't the only one that seeing my mom also, because she also was molested by the same person, but just seeing her strength from it and learning from her, it helped a lot. So,
Did you ever have a moment that you
Um,
wanted to give up?
cool, plenty of times. I remember I was I was at I was with my therapist at the time, and I was I was suicidal, like where she was like, "I'm gonna keep you overnight," and all this other stuff, and I was ready, like I drove there, and I was ready, like I was ready to die that day. To the point where I was ready for a car to hit me or something, like get into an accident, and I feel like that was my lowest moment. And then hearing my mom say like, "Well, what am I gonna do with my son at the time?" And I was like, "What?" And it clicked. Like, you can't leave him here by himself. He don't got nobody. I'm the only one he has. So that was it.
Well, we're glad you're
mm,
here.
definitely,
Mhm.
most definitely. Um, what gave me strength through my situation that I went through? I have to say, I don't even think they know it to this day. My kids. It was the fact that I was still seeing them, or popping up where they was at from time to time, and it was the constant. Can I go with you? Are you gonna come pick me up? Can I come to your house? I didn't have the heart to tell them I ain't got no house. And it like motivated me to want a house and want to get them and pick them up and stuff like that. So it really boosted me up. There was a lot of times I wanted to give up. A lot of times, I remember times like, especially like if it would like be like horrible weather, because I had this like box that I had made out of like a car seat box. So if it rained like really bad, it was like literally like freezing like crazy. And I used to always be like, yo, what am I here for? Why am I living? Why am I doing this to myself? If I left right now, who would care? There's a lot of times, a lot of nights that was like that. But it just made me stronger at the end of the day.
Um, what gave me the strength I needed to be able to stand here in front of all of y'all and tell y'all this? Honestly, I am like probably one of the most stubborn people you will ever meet, also. I think hey now, don't smile too hard there, Wancho. But I think the fact that honestly, it was this show. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This show is what kept me going. Um, at the time, I had a moment of giving up. Also, much like you all, I actually had a plan and everything. I was at that point where I didn't want to be here anymore. I was very much in a very deep, dark depression. I felt like because everybody had walked away from me, I felt like I didn't have nobody. Even my own family pretty much had ceased to exist in my life at that point. Um, and I kind of just felt like I didn't care anymore. And then I think the fact that like doing the show and I remember still to this day someone had came to me and said that um, I did a show on mental health, and they had told me that my show saved their life, and that and then it made them keep going, and it pushed me even harder to want to keep doing my show. And I think that's really honestly what gave me the strength, was knowing that it helped someone else, even though I was going through the same thing and I never let them know that. Um, but I think this is really what kept me going. It was the one thing that I held on to keep going, because I felt like I wanted to make a difference in the world, and not only the world, but I knew, and a lot of people have heard me say this, but I wanted to be that one small stone that causes a ripple that creates a wave, and I felt like that was my small stone, this show. I wanted to change the world and how people interact with each other and all of that, and that's really what kept me going, was I felt like I started to make a change in the world, just one show at a time, you know. And yeah, I think that's really what gave me the strength, was my show, and having Kingy kind of behind me to really like cheer me on. Because I would go to him and I'd be like, Kingy, I can't do it no more. I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to do the show. I don't want to do none of it. And he would be like, excuse me, you're my twin, and you're gonna, So kind of getting the kick in the butt from him, and then even now, like kind of fast forwarding to now, because it's something I still deal with, but even having Wancho and G-Ways and all the people here with the juice boxes and pagers in their names, like all of you guys, really keep me going, I don't have a lot of beautiful things in my life. I'm not a lavish person, but I feel like I'm rich in love, and I think that's really what keeps me going now. So I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. Just gonna throw that out there, but yeah, it's y'all. It's all of y'all. But
That's okay.
that's okay. But I do love y'all. But if y'all are pulling up,
That's okay.
you guys can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Red Room Talk, y'all. Y'all have not missed it all. We still have more to discuss. We just discussed the biggest obstacle and adversity that we've had to face. What was the hardest part about what you went through? How did you change your relationships with the people around you? Also, what gave you the strength you needed to be able to stand here in front of us today? And did you ever have a moment you wanted to give up? Now I want to know about your past self. I'm going to touch on that in just a moment. Ding, no pun intended. I often reflect on the person I was before I went through my experience. I both grieve and I'm proud of myself for overcoming what could have very well destroyed me. I'm sitting here in front of you all doing this very show because what I had within me was stronger than what tried to break me. I want to have you all reflect a moment on that trying time. What I want to know is, if you could go back to when your trauma happened or you were in the depths of your obstacle, what would you tell your past self with what you know now?
It won't be this way forever. Because I definitely thought I was never going to get out that situation. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Have faith, keep pushing. Like you said, I definitely felt like there was no ending for it. I thought it was like this was it. I'm like, man, I'm about to be, the next Will Smith type, but except for I wasn't gonna have the happy ending, like pursue the happiness, but it was like pursue the sadness in that moment, because I didn't feel like I was going to have a place or anything. You know what I mean? And,
I don't see how you did it. Much respect to you, because I know how hard it was for just me. And imagine having to have my child, man.
Days where I would not eat and make sure my son would have something to eat, because it was, that tight. You know what I'm saying? In that moment, it was that tight. Pockets was really hurting, and I remember sitting outside like libraries and going to McDonald's just so he could like log into the computer to do his schoolwork on the Wi-Fi. It was rough. So I didn't, I really didn't think there was going to be a light, but I knew I had been in like other situations that were just as bad, and somehow, some way, I always persevered and made it out. So I didn't give up. I just kept going. So I would tell myself, you've been here. You've been at a low before. This doesn't isn't the defining factor. You can get out of this just like you got out of anything else. So keep going.
Um, it would be that it wasn't my fault because I blame myself for it a lot. And then I also blame my mom, but I blame myself because I used to be like, why me? Because he didn't do it to no one else but me. So it'd be that it wasn't my fault.
Definitely. Well, I think one of the biggest things when I got sick, I think that I worried about is that someone would accept me one day. Is that I thought someone would look at me as a broken thing, or that I wasn't worthy of love, or that I was kind of like damaged goods. I didn't think that anyone would look at me and be like, oh, I want to be with her, when they could be with someone who was healthy, or someone who didn't have to deal with the things that I dealt with. And I think I would just tell my past self that you are worthy. You are going to find someone who who loves you and accepts you as you are. I think that was something like I really contended with, like that was like one of my biggest like insecurities, and it did make me really insecure for a long time. Definitely manifested a man, manifested. But I would also tell myself that you're stronger than you think you are, because I felt like, being in that place is like a vulnerability. I felt very vulnerable at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought like, I was just like I said, like a broken thing. But you're stronger than you think you are. And I look at myself now, even though I very much deal with the same thing, but I look at, when I was really in the depths at the sickest, I felt like it was like life was over, like for me, like I was never going to be able to do anything, or I was just going to be this broken like invalid is really what I looked at myself as. And I would just tell myself that you're more than you think you are. Like, this one thing does not define you. Mm-hmm. When we go through a trauma, or we go through something, big, it defines you so much that you don't realize that there's so many other things that make you who you are, that this one thing cannot define who you are as a person, because it didn't define me. Yes, it affected me, but it didn't define me. So I definitely would tell my past self that you're more than you think you are, And it's something I even kind of contend with now, but I know that I'm more than my illness. I'm more than that broken person I thought that I was. So, and someone is going to love you. So, yeah. But do you guys have anything else to say? No? Okay. If y'all are just pulling up, you're late. You're like really late though. But you haven't missed everything. We still have a little bit more to discuss, y'all. But that's okay. You can find us every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can't stand y'all. Right here on the Red Room Talk, y'all. Before we go ahead, make sure y'all tap in tomorrow at 5 p.m. for Soul Food Sunday, y'all. We are doing a t-shirt giveaway for the Wancho Juice brand. We're doing the Adventures of Jen Show t-shirt giveaway. So make sure y'all tap in tomorrow at 5 p.m. So yeah, make sure y'all hit Wancho with a fave. It'll be in his live tomorrow at 5 p.m. So make sure y'all tap in so you can be the first person other than us who has exclusive Wancho Juice gear. So make sure y'all tap in. But we just discussed the biggest obstacle, adversity that we've had to face. What was the hardest part about what you went through? How did it change your relationships with people around you? And also what gave you the strength you needed to be able to stand here in front of us today? And did you ever have a moment you wanted to give up? And then if you could go back when your trauma happened, what would you tell yourself with what you know now? Now I want to know about your biggest support. Sure, go ahead and hit me on Instagram. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram, and yeah. But now I want to know about your biggest support. Sometimes you'll do everything you can to be supportive, and it'll still be met with apathy or no response. Understand that others are tussling with something tenuous and may not be in the space to be receptive to support. Resist the urge to make it a personal offense. Communicate your love and support and leave the door open for when they might be ready. During life's rough patches, we often go into crisis mode. We are adept to making sure pressing things are handled while the basics often fall to the wayside. Think simply and of your strengths. Are you an amazing cook? Make a nourishing meal and offer to drop it off. Gifted with creativity? Make a card, write a thoughtful note inside, and deliver it in person or in the mail. Just show up. Be proactive and offer up suggestions of practical things you can do beyond open-ended and sometimes empty offers. Oops. With that, I want to know, who's been your biggest supporter through all these trials and tribulations? And what would you tell them right now if you could?
Me. Me.
Right.
Me. I've been my biggest supporter. And I would tell myself, thank you for keeping pushing. Me, myself, and I did that. That was, yeah. Just me, one pillowcase, one toothbrush by myself. Ain't nobody write me. Me. That's okay.
Let's see those boxes in the comments, y'all.
Yeah, I would say me, but I would also say just looking at how my son was receptive to the situation, how he, still had like a beam of light, and a smile within him, regardless of how down we were. He will always like just talk me up. You know what I'm saying? Even with the adversity that we were dealing with, he would always talk me up like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay, Dad. Oh, yeah," or even when it got to the point of being involved with activities with like the school and stuff like that, he told me like how proud he was that I was his dad, and that he wished that other kids can see what I did for him and stuff like that. So just him being him, and then me being the person I am. I'm not gonna act like I was raised in the church, but I don't go to church or anything like that. But I am spiritual, and so just trying to keep that positive outlook, and just him, being that beacon. My daughter as well. Even though me and her don't have that close a relationship, it's still, that love that I have for them just really was the support that I needed to just keep pushing.
Sure.
My biggest support, I think, not a thing, but I know it was my mom. Not because she knew what she would do, but I feel just seeing her strength and just seeing how she tried her best to understand what we also was going through, and seeing her get help as well was like the biggest thing for me.
For sure.
I want to thank me. I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for always being a giver and trying to give more than I receive. I want to thank me for trying to do more right than wrong. I want to thank me for just being me at all times. Snoop Dogg, you a bad motherfucker.
Oh, anyways, but you get the
Oh, wow.
gist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Honestly, my biggest supporter, I would say first, as a once I met Wancho, he's been really my biggest supporter. Other than King of Diamonds, who really at the beginning of my illness really was the person who really pushed me. But once I met Wancho, he really like showed me what true support was. You know, he was really kind of like my cheerleader without the, you know, pom poms. But you know, even you know, when I had surgery, you know, he was the one who was there. He was there. He was the one in the waiting room. You know what I'm saying? So to have that where I didn't even have my family before that, or anyone who was really around me, it really showed me and gave like my faith back into people. You know what I'm saying? Because I lost faith in people for a long time, and I still have trouble really trusting people because I really kind of detached from a lot of people. And so honestly, Wancho, he's been my biggest supporter through all of it, really. Even though he came, you know, after, you know, I got sick, but just having that person who really tried to understand what I was going through, and kind of like I said, even like was patient with me as far as like the insecurity that I kind of dealt with, and even beyond all that, to keep, you know, keep me pushing that I'm more, you know, that I could be more than that, and than what I was doing, you know what I'm saying, to keep pushing me and to uplift me. That really has helped change the trajectory for me, because I very much became complacent and where I was, and I kind of, I had just like I was just kind of, like I said, at a base where I didn't feel like there was any more that I could do. But just having that support of all of you on here, and him just really kind of is what pushed me to keep going and to make it bigger. You know, I started out the Red Room Talk, a small little you know, show on Saturdays, and you know, I kept pushing through all that. I got featured, you know, during my illness. I got my badge, you know, after you know, even after I got featured. But you know, I got featured during the depth of my illness, and so that really like proved to me that I was stronger than I thought. You know, that I kept going and did something that a lot of people couldn't do healthy. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, I know y'all be getting featured shows, you know, left and right now. But, you know, I worked months to get mine. And you know, it took me a long time to really develop it. But, you know, having, you know, all of you here that's really kept me going and supported me. But especially, you know, Kingy and Wancho and G-Way and all of those who show up here on Saturdays. You know, you guys have been my support. Y'all have been my support system. So I would just tell y'all thank you, you know, for believing in me, for believing in, you know, that first conversation, that first episode, that first talk that led to being here now, to where we're in the top 10 for featured shows. That's beautiful. So I definitely appreciate all of y'all. That's what I would tell you. I appreciate y'all. Yeah. When you hear that sounds, it means we are at our hot seat question segment. Our hot seat question is now left up to the fate of the audience. Yes. I went to Instagram to ask our peers what they wanted to ask for this week's hot seat question. If you want your question to be featured on the next week's episode, make sure that you go to my profile, click on the icon, and follow me on Instagram, and look out for that hot seat question post, y'all. Now is the time to enter in the comments who on the panel you want to answer tonight's question before I reveal it. Go ahead and enter in the comments now. Ooh, I see a whole lot of G-Way and a whole lot of Chilla. I vote Tim. That's cheating. That's cheating. That's cheating.
Oh, yeah.
Does that count as two?
I'm pretty sure that's cheating. So, see, if I was real mean, I would just be like, you know what, Wancho, for that, it's gonna be you. You know.
That's not okay.
That's
They
okay.
didn't say Wancho like one time in there today, so I feel like that wouldn't be appropriate.
I mean, but I'm the host, so guess what?
No,
Man, look
They're
how
like,
them votes just changed. Look at those
They
votes.
changed quick.
Look at the
They
votes
did not
change,
change.
boy.
I
You should have
Only in
stayed
America.
quiet.
Only in America. That's not okay.
crazy, right?
But you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and let all of y'all answer, just because I want to hear your answers. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give it to all of y'all. So this week, someone wrote in and asked, "What have you changed in your day-to-day life to remain strong?" What have you changed in your day-to-day life to remain strong?
Mm, I say my affirmation chance. Like I talk to myself every day and boost my self esteem. Let myself know it's gonna be alright. You know, whatever I'm going through, I'm gonna get through it. You know, it's kind of like boost my morale. When before I never even did stuff like that. I thought people was crazy. They talk to themselves.
I mean,
But I guess I'm crazy too.
that's
Not okay.
Repeat the question again. I'm sorry.
okay. What have you changed in your day-to-day life to remain strong?
Using my day-to-day life to remain strong. Crazy. I would say take more self-care time. Like there was a point in time where I didn't really everything was about everybody else, you know, making sure everybody else was good. And not that I don't care about my people, but if I'm not good, how can I be, you know what I mean? How can I make sure you're good? Um it was one of those things where I just kind of let my wants and needs kind of just fall by the wayside for a while there, and as I realized that I wanted more, I had to invest in myself more. I had to, you know, that I put more time in like my creative side, you know, that I didn't before. And so, and then just taking those moments to self reflect, meditate, you know, when I need to, uh, those meditation videos. I know you talking about you talking to yourself, but like some of the meditation videos be telling you like, look, you know, say this and you know, look in the mirror and like, you know, you feel good after that. I don't hear nobody say I feel good after that. I really do. Like it's like a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Facts.
Meditation is key. My favorite person to listen to is Michael CB on YouTube. That has helped me a lot. The people I surround myself with, affirmations. I'm not gonna say I don't. Like it's a daily battle because of my mental health. So working on my mental health as well helps a lot. And just having a tribe support system.
For sure. For me, honestly, I did go to therapy. It's something that I felt like I needed to not only understand, listen to that Snoop video, everyone, you know, I do actually listen to that quite often. That's why I had it pulled up so quick. Because you know you don't realize how much you know like that self-care that you have to rely on yourself. If Wancho were to leave tomorrow, I have me to rely on, you know what I'm saying? Or If my parents were to pass, my mom were to pass away tomorrow, I wouldn't have that, you know what I'm saying, anyone to fall back on. So, um, but for me, making sure that I'm happy. I think for the first time in years, I can say that I'm truly happy. Even when I'm having a bad day, under all of that, I am truly happy inside. I have everything that I could really want. See, hard eyes. I have everything that I could really want right now. I don't need for anything. There's nothing. I don't go without anything. Um and just to be here in front of y'all, on a featured show with my top badge, that really showed me that perseverance, in the face of the adversity that I went through, really paid off. Even when like I said, when I wanted to give up, just to keep going through all that, and just taking care of myself, making sure that I'm good, that everyone around me is good. I think that's just really, making sure that my mental health is A1. Um, but if y'all are just pulling up, it's over. Pretty much. This has been the Red Room Talk, y'all. You can find us here every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight's topic was overcoming obstacles. You're definitely late, but do not fret, because you can find us every Saturday and every week on YouTube, which you can find by clicking the icon on my profile and subscribing, y'all. But every week we do come to a place of healing, and we do a weekly quote. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show with the quote, and then you guys can give your outros. And yeah.
Play a little ditty.
And then we'll play a little ditty. So this week's quote is, "Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength." Mahatma Gandhi. That's actually the second one I did with Mahatma Gandhi this week, or this month. But y'all, this has been the Red Room Talk. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for not only being on the show, but for really being vulnerable here tonight and telling your stories. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all, seriously, for being on the show tonight. And I thank you for being open and honest and telling y'all stories. So yeah, I definitely appreciate y'all, and welcome to the Red Room crew. Chilla.
Thank
go
you.
ahead and, go ahead and give your outro, and then we'll move on to the gentleman.
So again, my name is Chilla. I don't know who J Star is. Please stop calling me that. Y'all can catch me on Tuesdays. Y'all can catch me in the evening. I know that is. Who is that? And I be chilling in my life. So just come, chill live. Let's talk about it. Thank you for having me, Jen. I appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. You can be on anytime.
I'm Wancho. You can find me Saturdays for Port on Wancho at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a paint show, y'all. Make sure y'all come check it out if you're into art. Even if you're not into art, I do some different things on there that you might like to see. You can also catch me on Sunday for Soul Food Sundays with Gin and Juice. We alternate lives every other week. So this week it's in my live, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also catch us for Versus Style Game Night on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we got some new questions for y'all, so I hope y'all ready. Blue, I hope you're ready to defend your title. Other than that, catch me when you catch me.
Yeah, I'm your co-host, G-Way. Hit the fave on me. I have a lot going on this app. I'm just very happy to be here. Yeah, hit the fave.
I'm very happy
Love
to
you
be
guys. I'm very happy to be here.
I am Jen and Juice, y'all. I'm the host of this show. The one that y'all just came into. I'm the host of this show. You guys can find me every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But make sure y'all pull up tomorrow for Soul Food Sunday at 5 p.m. We are doing a t-shirt giveaway. It is official Wancho Juice gear, y'all. Y'all will be the first and exclusive person to the top gifter of Soul Food Sunday tomorrow, which is at Wancho's Live at 5 p.m. The top gifter of that show will be walking away with official Wancho Juice gear, Adventures of Jen show t-shirt. So make sure y'all pull up tomorrow and tap in. We will be making lasagna and playing a little game, kind of, sort of. It's gonna be a fun one. How well do we know each other? So let's see who knows who better. You know what I'm saying? But make sure y'all tap in tomorrow, and then make sure y'all pull up on Thursdays at 9 p.m. for King of Diamonds getting lit, and then make sure y'all pull up on Tuesdays for game night, y'all, at 7 p.m. Eastern. But that's it. I'm gonna play a little ditty, and then y'all can get litty. All right. And that top gifter at the end of this episode right now is walking away with a graphic made by me, y'all.
Somebody play that. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm coming for you too. Ooh.